Christine Holgate never resigned.
The member...
Now, don't tell lies. Some scorched land, wide and free. Are we just going to continue with them screwing the farmers down through the floor? But I ain't spending any time on it.
Don't keep interrupting me. Do you hear me? Don't keep interrupting me. I have a right.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Wisdom Mongrel Patriot. We have just come from a very special event in Parliament House. I'm Kahla Kruger. I'm joined by my boss, Bob Kahla, and I'm actually joined by a special guest.
I must interrupt. That is not true. It's the other way around.
Oh, sure. Josephine O'Brien, who is Bob's nephew's wife, family member, and I'm actually
late nephew.
Late nephew. I'm very proud to say that she's become one of my close friends as well. We've spent a lot of time over the last 2-3 years working with Josephine and her late husband on an issue that's extremely close to Bob's heart. And we've decided to do an episode on this topic because it is so important that we continue the momentum of what's been achieved in the House today. So we're here to talk about blood cancer and Australia's donor list, which is by far the most, not very big in its numbers compared to the rest of the world. Josephine, tell us about the Life-Saving List, which was the initiative created to help Liam with his recruitment journey to find a bone marrow match.
And how successful you've been.
So back in 2022, when Liam was diagnosed with blood cancer just after he turned 40, things escalated quite quickly and he needed a stem cell transplant urgently, and there was no match for him. Unfortunately, neither of his brothers were a match.
In Australia or everywhere?
Well, worldwide, there was no match. It was like finding a needle in a haystack, and we realised how terrible the Australian stem cell donor registry was. Mm. So we had a fire in our belly to move forward and try and have an awareness campaign, which is what Life-Saving List initiated as, to alert 18 to 35-year-olds on the importance of joining the stem cell registry and how easy it was to help give a person who, in Liam's position, us and many Australians, a second chance at life.
So how short or a shorter time between when Liam was diagnosed to when the Life-Saving List started? Did you realise there was no space for this, or there wasn't that much support for recruiting or trying to find a match? Like, at what point did you realise there was a gap?
Yeah, so 6 months after he was diagnosed, because initially they told us it would be 5 to 10 years till he needed a transplant. And then, as I said, things escalated quickly because he had a genetic mutation that was driving that form of leukemia. And so it just started, my sister and close friend did a little video, and it was initially started as Legends Save Legends, and it was just meant to go viral amongst friends, and it took off so effectively that we couldn't keep up with how many people wanted to hear and support it. So we engaged a marketing and PR company, and then the Life-Saving List was born. So it could become anybody's list. It could become Sarah's list, Tom's list, so that anybody who was in the same fight as Liam, it was their list too, to join and to try and support that. So it was 6 months on, and we launched, and within 3 months we tripled the stem cell donations in Australia, which was the highest that Australia had seen. Then we
Say
went
that
on.
last bit again.
So we tripled the stem cell donations in the time until we found Liam a match, which was only, from when we launched, it was 3 months. And so that was the largest number in the Australian history at the time of tripling the stem cell donations. So we were very fortunate that it got the momentum that it did, and out of that we found him a match, which was incredible.
And from memory, because I was around 3 years ago too working with you, Bob, but I remember that we blew the whistle as well on just how, what a poor state the Australian list was in, and you blew the whistle when you asked a question in the House to the Minister where you said, it's incredibly difficult for these families, and we had 3 in our electorate alone. We had Missy and Missy's donors who it was too late for her, remember? Ange, the lovely Ange, and Matra Maggie was down in Cronulla, I think.
And Bonnie Black.
And Bonnie Black.
Bonnie Black.
Yeah, so we were...
Tragic.
You know, it started with Liam, but it came the momentum just came, like, so fast and so hard that, you know, families from all over were saying this is very much needed. So you asked a question to the minister, and the minister made a pretty big commitment 3 years ago. Yeah. So tell us about that and what that then how did that help the life-saving list?
And I think it would not have happened without Kahla, your support, and Bob and Robbie Catters as well in the state.
In the state,
yeah, absolutely, because it put it on the agenda for these health ministers, and it was incredible because out of that we enabled cheek-swab that was a way that you could sign up to the registry through a cheek-swab, and that was all through the work of you guys that enabled that, with Liam driving that as well, which was absolutely incredible. But I think in terms of Minister Butler, you know, he sort of said, I'm going to clear the way for, you know, cut the red tape and clear the pathway for blood cancer patients. And in the last 3 years, I wouldn't, you know, have said that enough was done, but I feel, you know, there's momentum, as you said, at the moment. There was a lot of talk in the House about it and at this event this morning for World Blood Cancer Day. And I'm feeling a little bit more positive to hope that we can really work together and try and make a change because it's needed desperately.
So I want to share exactly what the minister said 3 years ago. Take a listen.
After my meeting with the member for Kennedy yesterday and Liam and Josephine, I'm writing right now to the Chair of Health Ministers to seek their agreement to cut through some of this jurisdictional bureaucratic red tape, to do everything we can that is to clear the way that is currently denying patients in Australia the best chance to access this life-saving technology.
So after that question and that answer that we got, we decided to hold an event. And we knew time was running out because Liam he'd found a match. Tell us about that. And then he'd had the operation, and then we decided to kind of keep the momentum going for the life-saving list to try and help other families. So we held an event 2 years ago. So, and it wasn't long after that event that we lost Liam.
That's correct. Yes.
And so today's World Blood Cancer Day again, and it's 2 years on from that event.
Yes.
We did it again. How did you think today went? And were you happy with the commitment that the minister has given Mr. Katter again in his question to him yesterday?
Yes, I thought it was a successful event this morning. I think people were very touched, and as Mark Butler said, you know, there's nothing more powerful than a personal story. And, you know, he said obviously a lot of papers and things come across, you know, all the desks here at Parliament, but I think he was quite moved by the video that we showed that really was quite impactful in terms of it's right in your face. There's two small children, you know, they've lost their father. I've lost my husband. Yeah. Bob's lost his nephew, you know, it's and we've lost a great Australian gentleman, you know, who cared a lot about other people, not just himself. And so I think it was successful in terms of getting that emotion, but we need to now put that empathy into action.
Yeah, and that message was definitely received. I spoke on the way to this studio with the Chief of Staff for Mark Butler, and he stuck around for the whole event. He listened so intently. You could tell that he really was receiving the pain and the desperation and the necessary change that's like needed. I think that we'll see something here. He did. Yes. Yeah, he definitely is taking it seriously, and I think he's made some pretty strong commitments even as early as this week. And I want to play the audio from the minister's response yesterday as well. So take a listen.
You're right to say, the member for Kennedy is right to say that a few years ago I did acknowledge that Australia should be doing better here. We were then and are still one of the smaller stem cell donor registries of all developed countries. I said after the member's question a few years ago that I would take to health ministers a proposal to increase funding to the relevant organisations to undertake additional activity to recruit new stem cell donors to that registry. And we did do that. We did release additional funds, and there has been an immediate impact from those activities, with double-digit growth in donor recruitment in 2024. And this financial year, in 25-26, which is still not finished, the registry has expanded by almost 30%, Mr Speaker. But you're right to say there's more that we should be doing.
Bob, were you happy with what the minister said in today's speech and in his answer yesterday?
Well, I'm always into specifics, not generalities, and it boils down to a person, no, I'd say 5 people, good PR people, being assigned to speak to the Minister for Education in all the states, the Minister for Health in all the states, and to get their cooperation and getting all of the school children in Australia to be, over a 6-year period, as they get older, to get all of them on the register. And that's so easy to do. So easy to do. I was in the army, as all people my age were, and we had to give every year blood transfusions. Well, I'm terrified of needles, but I was terrified not getting it, being different and being a dog. So I was more terrified of being seen as a dog in it. Anyway, but it's just so easy to do. I mean, the university colleges, I just rang up my old college and spoke to the president of the college at U of Q, and he said, "Oh, yeah, mate, she'll be right. I'll put it up to the boys at dinner tonight, but I'll tell you right now, just send us swabs. We'll do the rest." So, 2 days later, the lady from Sydney went up and picked up the swabs. But I've got to say this. I asked her not to go up unless she rings up the other colleges. The President Leo's has offered to ring them all up for her. She didn't have to do that. And he said they'll all agree. So, there were like over 2,000 swabs she should have gone back with. She went back with 200. Now, there's just no excuse or justification for that. There's a story, but I won't go into the story. And to me, here was the story. All right, we'll go back 2 weeks later and do the job. Anyway, the job's not being done, in my opinion.
But there's so much potential there, is what you're saying, to be able to proactively go out there and find where these. The key age demographic is between the ages of 18.
It's now been lowered to 17.
17
yes,
and
to 35.
And
yes.
so there's a massive cohort. I think one of my colleagues today did some analysis, and she said 300,000 people will be turning 17
yes,
in the next 12 months.
Yes.
So there's a huge cohort
Absolutely.
of people and opportunity here, which brings us back to the life-saving list. We had the event today. The Canberra Raiders demonstrated how easy it was to cheek swab. You delivered a beautiful speech, and you showed this amazing video that I also want to share with the podcast. So, with your
co-president did too. I thought
Absolutely.
she was very moving.
I think, where do we go to from here? Where do you hope to take the life-saving list from here? Is it ideally to be funded to be able to deliver these programs that Bob's referring to, proactive recruitment in the university colleges, that kind of thing?
Yes, I think it needs like a unified national strategy, because at the moment, when you're hit with the news that a loved one has blood cancer, you don't want to have to be doing this on your own. And we want to take that load and burden off these families who are trying to, there's a lot of little people doing their own initiatives at the moment, but they shouldn't have to be doing that, and I think going to schools, universities, already up in Brisbane, we're going around to the independent schools to try and get a program in there so that, because that's the demographic, all the seniors are either 17 or 18. So that is a great starting point. Schools, universities, like Bob said, into the military, football clubs, any sporting clubs, it's that age demographic that we're looking for. So we're wanting a program to be able to go to all of these places and try and recruit as many people as we can to join the stem cell donor registry.
And so Life Saving List will become an official charity from here on out?
Yes, that's right. It is.
And we can expect to see more of you around
Definitely,
the place.
yes. Yep. I'm back with a force.
Yes. Very good. And if you had one message that you'd like to send to parents or people out there who are experiencing what you've experienced with the journey around blood cancer, maybe their journey is just starting, or maybe they're toward the end, maybe they've been successful with the match, maybe they're still trying to find one, what would be your message to them?
Don't lose hope, and don't take time for granted, because the gift of time is immense. It's priceless, really, and I think spending time with loved ones is what gives you the energy and the passion to continue the fight. And I think it's, for me, honouring Liam's legacy, I find it beautifully and powerfully uplifting. I think I've got to remember that, and we're doing it for the people that we have lost, the Australians that have unfortunately not had their success story. I think don't lose hope and cherish every moment. Take one day at a time.
Hey, can I sort of give a note of hope here? I've had 3 joint operations, my back, my heart, etc. If I had been born 20 years earlier, I would have been dead 3 times over. But, that last 20-year period, they have now found ways to deal with those 3 problems very effectively. So where my father died from one of those problems, I never died because, medical science and medical methodology had moved on. So I thought one of the great quotes was Mother Teresa. And they said, how can you believe in a God that inflicts such pain upon people? Terrible deaths from cancer. And she said, oh, well, of course, the little baby that was going to grow up and find the cure for cancer, you murdered him before he was born in Japan. I thought, see, you spent the whole of your life, dreaming up the perfect statement. But there are babies being born now that will find those breakthroughs.
And Bob, what about the parliamentary group on bone marrow donor registration? Where are we going to take it now? What's next for Monique Ryan, yourself, Mike Friedlander, Rebecca White, Ted O'Brien? You've got a group. Ali France wants to join too. She lost her son. She was very emotional at the event today.
Is she a member of Parliament?
She's a member of Parliament, and I would like you to go and see her in her office. She was very upset.
She lost her son.
She did. So where are we going? I've invited her to join the group, and she'd like to join us. Where are we going to take this group? What are we going to do next?
I think it has to be a fairly brutal meeting with the head of the health department. Don't give us any more of your BS. We're sick of it. Right? You've done bloody nothing, right? Now, there's a very serious campaign going on out there with very serious people involved. In fact, the deputy chairman of that committee, I think, will probably be the health minister if this government survives. So there's a very powerful, influential people. And you're playing with fire, doing your little games like, everything will be done by us, don't interfere. Canberra public service arrogance. But some of the people involved in this are not nice people, I have to say that. And they will go after you personally.
Well, the good news is that there's a
and
tender.
I happen to be one of those people.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a tender out at the moment, so that'll close in the next 2 weeks. And what will that tender achieve?
Well, yes, we need to get onto that act quickly because we'd like to see sort of what can come out
Have
of
you
that.
put in for that?
Not yet. Yeah, we're going to see. It's hard because it's the whole process.
Yeah.
So we just need to see how we can work and who with, because it's choosing the right organisations.
Josephine, how can people find you? How can people find the Life Saving List? Where do they go?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram lifesaving list and a website lifesavinglist.org. And also we are we're just going through the process of establishing this. As I said, I've just got back into it after having a bit of a break from it to focus on the children. So you'll see us around, like in the next few weeks. It will be very public, very out there. But yeah, certainly
get on the Instagram
get on the
page.
Instagram
That's where
for
you're going to
now,
get all
the
your
Life Saving
information.
List. Yeah. Absolutely. And if you want to register to get on the stem cell donor registry in the meantime, it's through stemcellsdonors.org.au.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Jeanette, can I just, Josephine, you hear me, right? All you need is someone to get on a telephone and ring up all those university colleges in Australia. That's all you have to do. And then you need someone with clout, and an Ann Plesh could do that job, standing on her head, to go and be authorised to go to each of the education ministers in Australia, the public servant groupings, police, army, etc. But biggest group of employees are actually the health department. And almost all of those people would be in your age range. So I think that we've got to push for an authority to be set up inside the health department, and that authority brings in some, what's the word I'm after, people and governmental people experienced in government here, and they will tour Australia with a representative of the Federal Health Department and convince all those various state government departments to do swabs.
Clear some of that bureaucratic nonsense that's holding everything back.
Well, over 5 years, on the figures I've got, there'll be an extra 1 million people on the register. How many are on the register now?
In Australia? 198,000. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You know, someone in my office did the figures. It came out that you'd have 1 million people on, within 4 or 5 years. Remember, with your schools, that cohort are gone in 3 years' time. So there's another cohort there that will now go on the register. But if St Leo's University College is any demonstration, like 5-minute telephone.
Absolutely. That's where Liam went too. So
dump off
they were very happy to do it.
Box,
Yes.
Of swabs. That's all that was needed. And that president of that college, he would go around and collect all the swab boxes for you. So you wouldn't even have to do that.
Good idea, Mr. Katter. All right. Thank you very much, Josephine. I think we'll leave it there. We will listen now to the beautiful video that's been produced by the Life Saving List in relation to Liam and his legacy.
Thank you very much, Kahla, and thank you, Bob.
They say true gentlemen are rare these days. They've obviously never met my brother, Liam O'Brien.
Are shining on me like a rhinestone cowboy.
A loving father, a devoted husband, a loyal mate. The kind of man who would stand with, fight for strangers he'd never met. And even after being diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer, that's exactly what he did. Liam's only hope was a stem cell transplant, but he discovered that Australia's stem cell registry was lagging far behind, with the second lowest number of registered donors in the world. So Liam didn't just fight for himself, he fought for everyone. Liam launched a national campaign to shine a light on the urgent need for stem cell donors across Australia. The life-saving list. He got the media talking.
A father of two is spearheading a campaign to make a difference.
Liam's life-saving list.
Governments responding.
Liam is not just in the fight of his life. He and Josephine have brought enormous energy to draw attention to an area of healthcare that frankly has moved too slowly in this country.
And Australians listening. Thousands answered the call, and the life-saving list delivered a record increase in stem cell donations in just months. Many Australians who joined the registry because of Liam's campaign went on to become a life-saving donor match for someone in need.
Like many people, I had no idea that a registry for stem cell donors even existed. I first heard about the campaign through a lot of the work on Instagram that was done by Josephine, by Liam at the grassroots level. It wasn't long before you were seeing it on morning news, on billboards around Brisbane. There was just this huge groundswell. So as a direct result of the work that Liam, Josephine and the Life-Saving List team did, I read up how to do it, and the next time I went to give blood I was able to put my name down and join the list. It was only 2 or 3 months I received a phone call from the organisation to say that I was a match for someone and would I be interested in following on and actually going through with a stem cell donation, which of course I was. You do realise as you're going through it that the change or the potential impact this could have on someone's family, someone like Liam, you know, one day it could be someone I know or someone close to me.
And for Liam, a stem cell donor gave him the gift of time.
They found me a donor.
Time to hold his children, his wife. To continue living fully and fiercely. To continue the fight. Liam passed away still fighting, not just for his family, not just for his life, but for a future where no one has to die unnecessarily from blood cancer. Liam wanted the life-saving list to be bigger than him. It's up to us to bring Liam's vision to life. Please help the life-saving list give hope to Australians with blood cancer.